What up, people of the world? Welcome back to Knell of St. Godhrkar. I believe in the last chapter that we read, Heikano visited his father at their estate in order to complain about the fact that the church is not defending Father Koshdaiza, or whatever his name is, Koshdaiza, the priest who's been arrested under suspicion of murder, even though it wasn't him. Oh no, he didn't. It was Urchin Easternizer's chapter, and they went to the leather shop that's where the older Goulet brother had been murdered, and they found the torture chamber beneath the leather shop. That was the last thing that happened. Okay, cool. So now we're going to head into a Letzeriel story. Excuse me. Armed with the information he received from the godfather of Tulane, Letzeriel once again set out in search of the journalist Verena. She was already expecting him with an important clue in her hands. So he's going back to the truth seeker Verena, I think. And he's injured. He got beat up, I guess, by the bodyguards of the mob lord. For the first time in his life, Letzeriel finds Spiral Staircase and we're off to a fantastic flying start with the English here, guys. Letzeriel finds Spiral Staircase could be this annoying. I don't understand what that sentence means. He's annoyed by the Spiral Staircase. That's all we can take away from it, guys. He came to this conclusion after the third time stop to get some rest. There's only a little space against the wall for him to put his right feet, while the other part is dangerously narrow. He has to step his left foot on the next stair to take a breath. The godfather of the Tulane family is a liar and a flip-flopper. Now he has to limp away with his beaten-up body. And the cramped staircase to the apartment of tabloid journalists is not helping. So is the tight schedule of the appointment with her. But other than that, everything went smoothly as he expected. They're a thesis order. So he must have had some idea that he can't have just, I don't know, it can't have been a coincidence that he just walked into that hotel and happened to meet the godfather, and then happened to have had a bar fight the night before and happened to have the information on him that the godfather needed. Letzeriel must have put it all together in some kind of subversive plan that wasn't told to us directly. He must have come up with it as a plan to get the information he needed, and then put the plan into motion. That's the impression I'm getting. Murmuring this name, he feels like he could go on again. With the last step conquered beneath his feet, Letzeriel finally stands in front of the door of Verena's apartment. No beautiful lady brushing past him, nor a kind neighbour show up to help, but old light bulbs dangling from the ceiling. Knock, knock. He straightens his body to slowly and gracefully knock on the door. Then he pauses for a moment, amused by his imitation of an imaginary scholar. He draws back his hand and waits for her to open the door as if nothing happened.
Miller?
Oh, hey Letzeriel, you're right on time. I've been expecting you.
Let's see.
Much appreciated. Only if you could just wait downstairs, he shot back inwardly, but the dull ache all over his body stops his babbling. It would be a waste of energy to do so. She makes a way for him to enter the living room. There are chairs and a table for the journalist to enjoy her afternoon tea, on which is cheap tea dregs wrapped in a little bag with some biscuit and a plate beside it. Something to drink? Wine, maybe? I could really need some to get warm. Okay, it's freezing out there. Sorry, we're out of wine. How about some Myatt juice? Myatt juice? Yeah? Yeah, Myatt juice, why not? No Hokurukan would soak any fruit in hot water to make juice, but the thought of his parents might enjoy this drink makes him pick up the cup. She didn't mash the fruit so it tastes fresh and astringent, not bad. You're right on time. Remember what you told me before about what happened between the Order and the Church? Of course, anything new? No matter how hard they tried to cover up their ulterior deeds, I can always dig them up. It's so easy to find what's going on. Oh really? What did you find? He echoed a few words perfunctorily, to make her just spill everything she knew. He has to stoke her ego, acting as if he is subservient to her investigation skills. Did you know Baptism Festival? This year's show list has just come out. Guess what? Grand PN Theatre, Dramanine Theatre and the Seminary are all included as revenues. Nothing special, he rolls his eyes inwardly. An outsider like him knows that it's no big deal to perform for a religious festival. As if sensing his disdain, she continues. This is an important clue, right? I did some digging and found out that one of the priests is the son of the very chief of the Verethesis Order. He is using the power within his reach to pave the way for his son. Hell, he could even make his son the next bishop. Then there he is, halfway inside the church without even trying, so the Order will rule very soon. They didn't expect someone like me could reveal their intentions from a show list. She finishes her drink after the show of self-indulgence. I still have a draft with me. Wait here, I'll get it for you. Gesturing for him to wait, she rummages through the ink-stained table. After a while, she is able to collect several manuscripts. He takes... Excuse me, sorry. He takes the papers and skims through the contents. He is staggered that she took his words so seriously. The reason for the author's attention shifted to the Verethesis Order was a warning she received days ago. A woman who claimed that the case concerning Father Tsunakesh Dozai is very complicated and therefore it's not appropriate for any further investigation, paid the author a visit with the most horrifying words of threat. She seemed like an extremist and a believer bent on defending the reputation of the church. Yet the author discovered that she was a member of the Verethesis Order. This makes one wonder, does the Order have anything to do with Kesh Dozai's case? Well, I wrote this piece overnight and it will be on the newspaper tomorrow. With all the publicity, both the Order and the Church will have to make a statement. Just wait till everything traces back to that woman. Oh, I can't wait to see her face, the thought of her coming back to beg me. This is suicide. He can't help but feel sorry for her naivety. But it has nothing to do with him. He wasn't about to stop her anyway. Ending his train of thoughts, he nods to her like a well-educated scholar. I'm sure she will. Isn't this exciting? I can't take all the credit though. Your clues have been very helpful, Led Serial. I'm going to follow this lead. Maybe there will be something big ahead. Speaking of which, I was just about to tell you something I just learned. It's also about the Order. Oh, what is it? She trots over to pick up her pen again. There are still a few blank spaces in the paper for her to utilize her talents in storytelling. It seemed that anything related to the Order will get her to jump to her feet. I finally got a clue on what happened in 1529. There was a fire in April north of the Thalazak, reason unknown, and that house is still under repaired somehow. One of the deceased was a member of the Order. Interesting. I heard they had some old files stocked in the archive. Maybe they don't want you to find those newspapers. Probably. If we start from here, we can dig up something very newsworthy. But if it was just an accident, there's no need to get this much involved. What is this? Some kind of scholar murder case? How exciting. Maybe they sent a killer without us knowing it and made us look like an accident. His heart clenches at this idea. Her words just confirmed his assumptions. His parents may be long gone, not because of disease or accident. The mafia, arsonist, Verithesis order, missing files, all of this just leads to another mystery. Yeah, everything is possible. Those schemes will be exposed, truth will be unearthed by you and me. He has to know the answer no matter what it is. Seems like you've made up your mind. I want to confront the chief. His words almost made her choke on the tea. Wait, by confront, you mean you're going to see him in person? That's right. Can I find him at the headquarters, or need I make an appointment? Indeed, now he has the name and the fact that this man knew what really happened. As impossible as it may seem, facing that man would be the best choice. The truth has a price, but he is ready to pay it. All the risk he takes wouldn't be for nothing. Maybe it's his determined look. She cares. She erases the disbelief from her face. Well, since you're really going, I have an idea. There will be a lecture. The man you are looking for, Sayat Mulnathan, is the very speaker. It's about broadcasting technology or something like that. I am not an expert. You could sneak in if you're interested. Might even get a chance to talk to him. I can't promise anything. You'll have to try your luck there. That's the last thing he needs, Ariel thinks to himself. He makes a plan for tomorrow. He will meet Mr. Mulnathan and everything will come to light. He hopes his luck could take him this far. Alright, let me see. Oops, it's getting late. Go back and have some rest. We need to split up tomorrow. Wait, split up? Of course, Leslie. You will not be alone on this matter. I will help you. I'm going to try my luck at the police station or cemetery for the fire accident you just mentioned. A list of deceased won't be a problem for me. This confident journalist has already made up her mind. Compared to his plan, hers is nothing less than audacious. Whoops. You want to sneak into the police station and cemetery? This is not a show list. It won't be easy. This is no show list. It won't be easy. Dunno. Everybody has access to the show list, but who would have thought there's something behind the words? Except me, the perceptive and sagacious Verena Wyatt. Well, don't you worry about me, Leslie. I have a plan already. Apparently she thinks luck will always be on her side. This journalist gets a star in her eyes and tilts her chin up, unlike the intent girl she was a while ago. She's glowing with pride and confidence, as if she has won this battle over their 1-hour conversation. Alright. Fair enough. Okay, let's see what this is about. Chevrolet Fuchsia again. Chevrolet has already packed her bags for the audition held by the church. She decided to pour out her heart to Maverick the next time they meet. A figure suddenly appeared in front of the mansion. Could it be the one that she had longed for? So she's still at the mansion, obviously. Wallet, ticket, map, score, handkerchief, key. Chevrolet is packing up in silence. The costumes have been pre-ordered, so there isn't much for her to carry. She double-checks to make sure she brought everything she needs with her. She's finally getting out of here. The fact that she's leaving for good still leaves this thorn in her heart, but now all of this would bother her no more. The chains have been lifted, and she is filled with freedom like a bird out of its cage. Or not. There's still one left in the city, Maverick. She stares blankly, scrambling to get the name out of her mind. She never meant to quarrel with Maverick. It wasn't much of a fight. The insecurities filled her blood, circling her heart, rushing to the only man who always spoils her. Before she leaves, she needs to see him one last time, to apologize and to decide. To leave or stay, to be together or separate, whether to be a beacon waiting for a homecoming ship, or a lonely boat sailing to the end of the world. She must make a final decision. Charlotte buckles her suitcase with a click, then stands up. It is then she when notices a muffled voice ringing through the closed window in the thick wall. Chevette is expecting some stray cats or the rain dripping down from the leaves. She notices that sobbing become even clearer when she opens the window. She looks towards the doorway to see none other than Gowl, who has just delivered his cargo, is covered in the shadow of the doorpost and weeping his eyes out. Oh dear. Startled, Chevette hurries out of her room from the back door to approach Gowl, who, instead of moving, shrinks into a ball as if a lost child.
Hello.
Gowl, what's wrong? Out of desperate, he clings to his courtesy. His eyelids could no longer be the dam that he held his tears in the water. I'm going to try that sentence again. His eyelids could no longer be the dam that held his tears in as water streams down his cheeks. He breaks down while grabbing onto her dress. Chevette tugs to break free, but gives up after a few tries. She has to bend down and stroke the young man's long hair. Miss Fuchsia, I'm Glur, Slow down, child. Tell me what happened. Take a deep breath. She is in no mood to calm this bawling brat, but his lips tremble with horror and grief, as if the bewildering words are about to come from them. Without much of a choice, Chevette pats him down. What's going on? Her benefactor, Gowl's employer, Legard Whiteson, is standing at the near corridor. He walks up to them, crouching down to take Gowl's hand, and, without a trace, made him let go of the woman's petticoats. Now, let's see, what's the problem at hand, Gowl? Gowl seems to have calmed down just a bit. Feeling the warmth radiates from Legard's hands, his fingers stop trembling. Chevette stands up and smooths down the wrinkles of her dress. She couldn't help but wonder what happened to this poor fellow. When I went down to the workshop to find Glur, there were police all over the place. I didn't understand why or what happened. Legard frowns at the word police, but he quickly erases the expression off his face and pats Gowl on the shoulder to calm him down. When I stepped closer, there was a crowd of people, you see, all gathered in front, like it's some kind of a show. Gowl slams his fist onto the gatepost with a loud bang. His rage-twisted face is hidden under his bangs. Those people, they were all saying how the police are investigating a crime scene. A man was killed in the shop. I thought it must have been Guerrero's work, but he couldn't just toss the body on the streets. That will leave a trace back to him, so I was just confused. Legard's voice is soft, but his expression tells a different story. I got closer, I had to. I pushed and squeezed to the front to see what was going on. Then Gowl suddenly went quiet. Just as Chevette is about to ask him to continue, she notices that his face is twisted with despair and hatred, on which those sapphire-like eyes is brimming with even more tears this time. The pain of loss overwhelms him, like a tsunami crashing down and destroying him. It was then he realized that death could come silently, without any indication. Dead people have no dignity, no rights, let alone accomplishment or anything a man could have had. From the amount he was crying, Chevette almost thought he already cried himself dry. Words once again fall crumbling out of his mouth. I took a look inside and I saw Guerrero's body there. The police, they were stuffing his body in a bag. He looked just... It seems like Gowl just couldn't say the word. He has never even thought about referring to his beloved brother as dead. The only man he looks up to, who he relies on, who he cares the most. The moon has risen up in the sky. Its pale and icy light like cold water pouring down to the ground. It will not quench the flames of the youth, but it still can make people uncomfortably damp. But they're laughing, the bystanders and cops, and that blonde detective, he was laughing so hard. How could they? Guerrero's dead, but those cheap melody for... At the brink of collapse, Gal suddenly shouts that word. This sweet young man is torn apart from the cracks of his soul. Malice comes oozing out. Gal's trying so hard that he begins to hiccup and wheeze, crying so hard that he begins to hiccup and wheeze. Chevlet just hopes he doesn't throw up, at least not on her. Behold, my son, the essence of humanity, idiotic, cold and brazen. These aboriginals flood the land, yet they know little about the nature of the world. These apes with such impudence kill, loathe, discriminate others due to tiny differences. Lagarde's tone remains calm, but his every word is bitter with agony, like a burned out fire. The embers of anger are still flickering, as if they will rekindle at any moment. He lowers his voice to comfort Gal. Not knowing when Gal has stopped sniffling, instead he gazes at the man blankly yet firmly. His eyes are still red from the sobs, but now they're filled with hatred instead of sorrow. You're right, Mr. Whiteson. Gloria died for a cause. I will not let this go easily. And with his brother gone, so was he. Gal died in the night of life and death, a world of loss and found. He has lost everything. The never-ending hellfire is his sole company. His eyes now lit up with scorching flames dances within. Those people who took Ware's life will pay. I will make sure they do. Lagarde nods in approval. He turns slightly to face Chevlet. Nods in approval? That can't be good. You just let this vigilante renegade out on a mission of vengeance against the cops or whoever killed his brother. That's going to lead to a bad situation for you, I'm positive. Chevlet, how are your luggages coming along? It's coming along. I've packed everything I need. Good. We must leave to catch the train now. Rob will take care of everything. And Gal, go inside. I'll let the maid prepare you a place to stay. You'll need a good rest. Chevlet returns to the house to carry her suitcases. She takes a deep breath, reflecting on the long day and what's soon to come. Now that she's on her way to a brighter future and Rorty is getting her voice back, things are going even better than what they've planned. The sound of engine intensifies as Rob steps out of his car to help the lady with heavy lifting. Chevlet follows him, trying her best to put on a good facade. This glib-tongued man is going to Thalazak with her. She hates how Whiteson arranged for Rob to pretend to be her manager. Only the uneasiness and joy of seeing Maverick can cheer her up a little bit. Rob grunts as he loads the packages one by one. After they are both in the car, Larry, Lagarde's other driver, starts the engine. Okay, we've got a new driver. The cold wind of December swooshes past the metal surface of the car. Chevlet stares out into the darkness of her window. The winter sun was long down. She's anxious, eager to see the view of the other side. She wants to see Maverick. Can't we go any faster? Robert turns around, puzzled by the sudden request. No, but... Besides, I'm doing my best here with all the frost on the road. I don't want any accidents now. Chevlet tightens her grip on the purse. She simply refuses to think of the possibility of not being able to see Maverick one last time. She wants to talk to him, to hug him, let his warmth soak into her skin. So that she can remember the sun still exists even in the long winter nights. For some reason, there are surprisingly few passengers at the Illy Central Station today, compared to the roving police who check and verify each other's guest identity. The platform is scattered with a few people waiting for their rides or their beloved to come home. Chevlet is relieved at the fact how this way she won't be able to miss Maverick's tall and big silhouette from the crowd. Well then, I will be on my way for the arrangements.
Lane.
Sure. Robert unloads the suitcases and leaves them with Chevlet. Turning her attention away from Robert, Chevlet searches frantically for the man she misses the most. The station is in no way small. She pushes the suitcases up the steps, and at a glance one can see almost every person who walks in and out of the station. She makes extra sure that not a living thing can escape from her perception, from the child who links his hand with his mother to the hat maker who quietly smokes in the smoking area. The lit cigarette in his fingers, as if mocking her limited time, has its ashes falling onto the tray like sand in an hourglass. Tick-tock, tick-tock. The big quartz clock located at the centre of the station strikes, indicating it's their time to leave. Every strike lands brutally onto Chevlette's heart. Her heart catches everlasting fire like she is Fake-Rise, who is destined to be burnt out. She feels the pain in this fire. Her self-esteem has been burnt into ashes, but the fire still continues to spread, swallowing everything it touches, will not let her go. She still couldn't find Maverick until Robert came back. Alright, we should go. Puzzled, Robert picks up the luggage and heads for the platform. She follows him, looking back times to times. They walk off the platform. The man enters the car first and places their luggage next to the seat. More travellers brush past her and fast-track to the train. An elderly lady is holding an excited toddler, the gentle husband caring for his pregnant wife. Oblivious of herself, Chevlette is still searching for her absent half. Robert knocks on the window to draw the attention of her.
Bring on.
It's time. What exactly are you waiting for?
Shang.
Just give me a moment, please. I'm sorry, love. As much as I'd like to give you my pardon, but the train is about to leave without us. Not looking at Robert, Chevlette is still searching for one last look. Passengers have boarded the train one after another. The platform is now empty. Still, no matter how hard she tries, her perseverance shows no avail. Maverick isn't here. He didn't come. Chevlette felt cold, as if Aeson's witch is laughing in the dead silence, making a pact with her. She looks down at her clenched hands in front of her chest, so tight as if she wants to nestle her flesh into the fabric of her gloves. They are shaking from the overexertion. Her palms are cold and fingers aching. Chevlette holds back the tears in her eyes. She cannot let Robert find out what is really going on. It is because what she said to Maverick this morning. He wouldn't let her leave the city. No matter how much she regrets, her last chance of making amends is gone. Remorse, resentment, anger, and other emotions engulfs her like a flame. That's pretty nasty. Chevlette, are you crazy? Will you still get a show, remember? Robert is shouting from behind. There is no way she can oppose his words. Is this the end of she and Maverick? No. The flame that trapped her bursts out. The hatred that she breeds walks out from fire. I shall be reborn. I shall climb to the top and become the new morning star, says Chevlette. She is the crows. She is in the flood of the apocalypse. And she is going to make Maverick feel the power of her pain and grief. I'm not going to be stuck with him. I'm the only one who can hold everything. I'm the only one who can break the heart of a suitor. I'm the only one. She holds onto the edge of the door frame and takes one last look. Of course he is not there. She takes a deep breath, like the breathing exercises she does. Her eyes are now clear without any trace of hesitation. She hardens her heart as promised. Now she is on the train to Thalizak. Her path and decision will reveal themselves before her. She will forget all of that of Maverick, the good times and the bad. Only music will remain and keep her alive. There's a long way ahead. Give her the time to organize her thoughts. With a few vibrations, a loud steam whistle is released as the train begins to move on its tracks. Let it take her to a higher place, to Thalizak. Okay, that's pretty harsh. So Maverick obviously didn't show up after their argument and fight in the morning. He decided he didn't want to see her off, which is quite sad. but, you know, that's his decision, and obviously it's made her grow cold and resentful and grown quite hard. Looks like we've got another Raven story. We get to find out if the operation was a success. Raven has already accumulated a wealth of clinical experience. He decided to put them to good use He decided to put them to good use and operated on Rorty's throat. However, after he finished Lagarde's commission, the man did not seem to have the intention of letting him go. Yeah, of course not. He knows too much. He's been kidnapped, for crying out loud. This is the longest and most frightening operation he has ever conducted. It's hard to imagine a beautiful girl like Rorty is suffering from such a terrible disease. The tortuous brown-red capillaries and the fibrous tissues on the throat makes it look like she is still recovering from a fresh wound. These blackish hyperplasia, which almost covers all of her vocal cords, and ventriculus laryngitis, is spreading along the mucosa like tumour. She even corrodes the bone. The pathological tissue must be removed before plants the artificial throat. Thanks to its replaceability, it would be easy to clean. Maybe it's the abnormality of that thing is so unsettling, it makes Raven extremely anxious during the whole process. His shirt was soaked in sweat when he tossed that cartilage stuff into the tray. He owed the success to the ingenuity of the little device itself, though he doubted that his apparatus, made of unknown, would cause a rejection reaction. He stitched up the cut with a catgut nonetheless. After the patient was sent to rest, he sits in the guest room for a while. He almost falls asleep due to the exhaustion from the surgery when a maid approaches him. "Excuse me, Mr. Winsar? Master Whiteson wishes to see you now. He wants to thank you."
Line.
Yeah, okay. He nods with obedience and follows her to the living room. She knocks the door for him. Raven wants to say something but chooses not to. "Dr. Winsar, do come in, please." He pushes open the door to see Lagarde is sitting in the room, reading in a wicker chair by an exquisite little tea table. This dapper man is wearing the same suits as the last time Raven met him. "Come, my child, sit here." He pats the seat beside him, gesturing Raven to sit. The older man is gazing him with the gentleness of an amiable father. After the boy closed the door and did what he was told, he picks up the pot on the table and pours something into a cup. "Please allow me to apologize again for what happened last time. It was very rude of me. I would like you to come and join us for dinner tonight as a token of my gratitude. We have chief from Noto, so it will be magnificent." Lagarde raises his tea to Raven, who pursed his lip before lifts it. "I am glad too that Miss Rorty could get her voice again. Look, I am just a trainee. If I don't go back and get the medicine licensure, my parents will be very disappointed." "As much as I want to escort you back." He removes his gaze and fixes it on the other side of the room where has just served as the surgery. Raven knows that the girl is still sleeping in there. "Rorty really needs you at the moment."
Line.
"Oh, okay." Like everything happened before, he has no stay in those people's plan. Even if he does, he would choose to stay because he is needed here. But this kindness should not be a burden. Sensing his hesitation, Lagarde wants to say something placatory when a hurried footsteps come from outside. It's his new driver, Larry, who pushes open the door. "Mr. Whiteson, there's a... Having a good time, Lagarde? Oh, Gilbert, this creep's back." A long, drawn-out greeting comes from behind Larry. It's a man in fancy suit with two retinues strode into the room. Lagarde seems surprised. He quirks his brow. "I don't recall sending you an invitation, Mr. Gilbert Fowlan. It's impolite coming uninvited." This man does not look like some old friend. With his guard up, Raven takes a glance at Lagarde. Said man still takes on a good-natured demeanor.
A line.
Wait me at the dining room, Raven. Fowlin glares at him, which made Raven glue to the sight. His man still blocks the exit. Even Larry can't leave the room. What's that supposed to mean, Lagarde? Did you just take Morningstar without even asking me? Man, the English is so broken. Calm down, Mr. Fowlin. Be the reasonable man you... Shut the fuck up! Raven jumps at this hysteria. He turns to size the man up and down. He's flushed and his chest is heaving like an enraged bull. And his eyes red... And his eyes are red like they could shoot venom. Stop humiliating me and answer my damn question, Lagarde. Where did you take the Morning Star? Hand her back. She belongs to me. Fowlin seems like a fury. The heaving of his chest could almost make the shell buttons on his shirt pop. So are the veins on the back of his hand, which he uses to tug at his tie. This makes Raven start to worry as this could get physical. But Lagarde looks like he didn't take this personal. He just pours some champagne in a glass. With this drink in hand, he rises from the chair and gestures the man who is glaring at him to sit. I am afraid that Hillel wanted to come with me, and she can stay there as long as she wants. She will be performing on bigger stages like she once did, but you, Mr. Fowlan, you will just toss her away like garbage when you're done with this woman. I will find her. No matter where you hit her in this city, I will find her. If you won't let go, I will make sure you know the consequences. He slaps on the table with a loud bang. Lagarde's drink is knocked over to the ground, and the golden bubbly dampens his shoes and the carpet. This man is in a fury. Raven could never imagine a decent man like him could be acting like some punk on the street, ready to fight for his girl. But Lagarde manages to keep his composure, as if the bottle in the younger man's hand is just a harmless rose. Raven's body is all tensed, ready for the loud bang of bottle cracking, be it on the table, carpet, or Lagarde's head. He needs to get out of this room. Bang! There it is. The sound of fall comes through the air after a few seconds of complete silence, without shattering glass or wind as he imagined. He witnesses this terrifying turn of events in the French window. Before Fowlan could smash the bottle on the guard's head, a terrible spasm seized him. His glare is filled with agony and astonishment. The man's eyes are engorged with blood, while the tense muscle in his arm slackened. That bottle fell to the ground and spilled all over himself. With his back hunched, Fowlan fell limply onto the table before sliding off to the carpet. It happened so fast. Raven jumps at this horrifying turn of events, causing the stool to tilt and fall. Even his bodyguards were frozen to the ground. What the... The man goes into a convulsion, curling on the ground like he was having an asthma attack. His hands gripping hard on the throat where caught Raven's attention. It is oddly swelled up like he is a snake trying to swallow an egg. He is worming towards Raven, trying to grasp at Lagarde's shoe. The older man also seems staled by the turn of events. He crouches down with Fowlan's men, lifting his neck higher, hoping this could work. The muffling voice squeezed from his swelled-up throat sound like it's coming from beneath the sands. This is just intimidating as the wailing of a ghost. We could use a hand here, Raven. His word makes said man's hair stand on end. But the Doctor Nature manages to get the best of him. He rushes towards them to help, putting Fowlan's head down on his lap and some pressure on his swollen windpipe. The man's inhale is sharp and weak when his neck is situated like this. His face turns purple aubergine, eyes bulging, drool dampened Lagarde's pants. He stares at the door with dilated eyes in fear while the two are busy pushing the hard lump out of his throat. What is stuffing his throat? Raven thinks to himself. He is sure that this man didn't eat anything, but his throat just can't stop swelling up. This made sweat dripping down his face. He could smell his fear is turning to agony and despair. Fowlin's face is twisted like he is scorched by the sulphurous fires in hell. Soon he begins to vomit, blood and saliva dripping down his chin. Then it's only black and stinky blood. Gross. After coughing some granule like sand, his pupil dilated and stopped moving. Raven reaches out to his wrist only to feel no pulse under the cold skin. So did he poison him? Did Lagarde poison him or something? The man is dead. Raven holds his sweat-soaked and cold head in his arms. His eyes and mouth are still open. The empty stare into void suggests the end of his pursuit. He just couldn't lower his stare to the dead, stony face on which his agony lingers. But this spindle neck in his arms is turning more rigid and cold like a dead fish. Get up, Raven. There is nothing we can do. There's sorrow and fear in the older man's eyes. His hands are covered in blood, shaking, but he manages to hide them behind his back, out of Raven's sight. The shadow of death hovers above them. Right, so we don't know quite what happened there. He just died all of a sudden and started choking to death. Maybe he was poisoned by Lagarde and we don't know that yet. I'm really not sure what happened, but yeah, he dropped dead and started vomiting blood. We've got... the next one is Aerith. That'll be interesting. That looks like the final chapter. So the final chapter on the 7th of December, unless there's one down here, is an Aerith chapter. But guys, we've only got about 15 minutes left before the hour is up, so I'm not going to risk reading this in case it goes over the 15 minutes. I'm going to end the episode here and pick this up next time. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching the stream, guys. I do hugely appreciate it, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed playing. As always, this has been an absolute blast. Hopefully I will see you in the next episode. I produce content every single day, so peace out till next time.